The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stretched across 3 miles of polished crystal. 12 different alien species sat in their floating chairs, each one representing worlds that had mastered space travel thousands of years ago. Today, like every day for the past century, they discussed boring trade agreements and mineral rights. Ambassador Zixthala floated near the center podium. Her blue skin shimmered as she spoke to the council. The Etherian had lived for 800 years and had seen many new worlds discovered. But today felt different. Council members, she began, her voice echoing through the hall. Our deep space sensors have found something unusual in Sector 7 Alpha. The other council members barely looked up. New planets were discovered every month. Most had simple life forms like plants or small animals. A few had basic creatures that could think, but nothing special. The third planet in that system is sending out radio signals, Zixthala continued. These signals show that intelligent life exists there. Now the council paid attention. Councillor Vraktar of the Hegemony leaned forward in his chair. His red eyes glowed brighter. The Hegemony were warriors who believed in strength above all else. How long have they been sending these signals? Asked Elder Morvek from the ancient curator species. Less than 100 years, Zixthala replied. Our analysis shows they discovered radio technology very recently. They have also achieved nuclear fission and sent small vessels into space around their planet. The council chamber filled with quiet discussion. Most species took thousands of years to move from radio signals to space travel. These new creatures seem to be moving very fast. What do we know about them? Asked Serenda, the xenobiologist. Her green tentacles moved as she spoke, showing her excitement at discovering new life. Zixthala activated the holographic display. Images appeared showing a blue and green planet with white clouds. Then the images zoomed in to show cities, vehicles, and finally the creatures themselves. The council stared in silence. The beings walked on 2 legs and had no fur or scales. They looked soft and weak compared to most galactic species. They had no natural weapons like claws or poison. They seemed to be made mostly of water and soft tissue. They call themselves humans, Zixthala explained. They live on most parts of their planet. Our scans show they have divided themselves into many different groups that often fight with each other. Vraktar stood up from his floating chair. His warrior instincts made him suspicious of any new species. Fighting among themselves shows they are dangerous, he said loudly. We have seen this before. Species that fight their own kind will eventually fight others. We should act now before they become a threat. Several council members nodded in agreement. The galaxy had been peaceful for over 1,000 years. No one wanted war to return. Elder Morvek raised one of his forearms for silence. As the oldest member of the council, his words carried great weight. We have protocols for dealing with new species, he said calmly. Standard Protocol 7 states that we monitor primitive species from a distance. We do not make contact until they achieve faster-than-light travel. But how long will that take? Asked Thyrun from the Communication Guild. Our computers predict they will need 500 to 800 more years to develop such technology. Zixthala brought up more data on the holographic display. The images showed human wars, their weapons, and their space vehicles. The interesting thing is how quickly they advance, she said. In just the past 100 years, they have gone from riding animals to flying through space. They solve problems very fast when they need to. Vraktar paced around his floating chair. His red skin grew darker as he became more agitated. That makes them even more dangerous, he argued. Fast advancement means they could surprise us. We should guide them now or eliminate them before they become too strong. The council erupted in arguments. Some species wanted to follow the old protocols and wait. Others agreed with Vraktar that immediate action was needed. A few suggested making peaceful contact right away. Elder Morvek called for order. His ancient voice cut through the noise. We will vote, he announced. All in favor of Standard Protocol 7, raise your appendages. 8 of the 12 species voted to wait and watch. 3 voted with Vraktar for immediate intervention. 1 abstained. Vraktar was not satisfied with this result. He demanded a compromise. Then at least send a closer observation vessel, he argued. These humans are not like other species we have discovered. They advance too quickly. They fight too much. We need to understand them better. After more discussion, the council agreed. They would send 1 research ship to study the humans from close range. The ship would remain hidden using advanced stealth technology. It would gather detailed information about human capabilities and intentions. Zixthala was chosen to select the observation team. She picked 6 experts from different species, each with special skills for studying new civilizations. As the council session ended, most members felt satisfied with their decision. They had followed proper protocols while also taking reasonable precautions. The observation mission would provide more information to help them decide what to do next. But Vraktar was not satisfied. As he left the Great Hall, his mind was already planning other options. If the council would not act decisively, perhaps other members of the hegemony would be more willing to protect galactic security. The research vessel would launch within days. Its mission was simple: watch the humans and report back to the council. None of them expected that this routine observation would change everything they thought they knew about primitive species. The humans were about to show the galaxy something it had never seen before. The research vessel Distant Observer moved silently through space toward the human solar system. Its stealth shields made it invisible to primitive sensors. Captain Genkala had commanded observation missions for 2 centuries, and this seemed like another routine assignment. The ship carried 6 specialists from different council species. Each one was an expert in studying new civilizations. They expected to spend a few months cataloging human behavior, then return with a standard report about another pre-space species. They were completely wrong. Within 3 days of arriving near Earth, the observation team realized these humans were unlike anything they had studied before. Communications Officer Thyron was the first to notice something strange. "Captain," he called from his station, "I am intercepting human military communications. They are not just planning for wars against each other." Genkala walked over to examine Thyron's data. Her 4 eyes scanned the translated messages with growing confusion. "What do you mean?" she asked. "They have detailed plans for fighting enemies from space," Thyron explained. "They call them alien invasion scenarios. They have strategies, weapons designs, and command structures all prepared for enemies they have never met." Military analyst Kralak looked up from his own station. The veteran warrior had studied hundreds of species over his long career. "That is impossible," he said. "No species prepares for threats that do not exist. It wastes resources and energy." But as Kralak examined the human military data, his confidence faded. These humans had not just thought about fighting aliens. They had created detailed battle plans. They had designed weapons specifically for fighting technologically superior enemies. They had trained soldiers for scenarios that might never happen. "Look at this," Kralak said, bringing up a human military exercise on the main screen. "They practice fighting enemies with better technology. They use tactics I have never seen before." The observation team watched human soldiers in training. Instead of fighting in organized formations like civilized species, the humans scattered and hid. They attacked from unexpected directions. They sacrificed small groups to learn about enemy weaknesses. They seemed willing to accept massive losses if it gave them any advantage. "This is not normal military thinking," Kralak muttered. "They fight like animals, but smart animals." Xenobiologist Serenda was making her own disturbing discoveries. She had been studying human recreational activities and could not believe what she found. "Captain, you need to see this," she called out. "Humans do things that make no sense." Serenda showed the team videos of humans climbing dangerous mountains, diving into deep oceans, and jumping from flying vehicles with only cloth to slow their fall. "They risk death for no reason," she explained. "They call it adventure or sport. No other intelligent species seeks danger when they could avoid it." The team watched in amazement as humans deliberately put themselves in harmful situations. They saw humans racing vehicles at deadly speeds. They saw humans exploring caves that could collapse. They saw humans fighting wild animals just to prove they could. This explains their military tactics, Kralak realized. They are not afraid of death like normal species. They actually seek out dangerous situations. Engineer Maldak was studying human technology and making his own shocking discoveries. The humans had achieved in decades what most species took centuries to develop. "Their advancement rate is unprecedented," he reported. 50 years ago, they could barely fly. Now they have permanent stations in space. They are already planning missions to other planets in their system. But the most alarming discovery came when Moldak analyzed human research projects. The humans were not just advancing their technology. They were actively trying to improve themselves. "They are modifying their own bodies," Moldak said with disbelief. "They replace damaged parts with artificial ones. They enhance their physical abilities with drugs and surgery. They are even experimenting with changing their genetic code. The observation team stared at the data in shock. No council species had ever tried to alter their own biology. It was considered too dangerous and unnecessary. They are trying to make themselves stronger, faster, and smarter, Moldak continued. They see their natural limitations as problems to be solved, not facts to be accepted. Dr. Elin Ara, the team's psychologist, had been studying human behavior patterns. Her findings were the most troubling of all. They do not think like other intelligent species, she reported. Most civilized beings seek comfort, safety, and stability. Humans actively seek challenge, danger, and change. She showed the team examples of human exploration. Instead of staying in safe areas, humans constantly pushed into unknown territories. They sailed across dangerous oceans before they had reliable ships. They climbed the highest mountains on their planet. They sent expeditions to the coldest and hottest places on Earth. They are curious about everything, Dr. Elinara explained. They take apart their own technology to understand how it works. They study dangerous animals by getting close to them. They even send probes into space just to see what is there. Captain Genkala reviewed all the reports with growing unease. In her 2 centuries of observing new species, she had never encountered anything like this. Send a priority message to the Council, she ordered Thyron. Mark it as urgent classification. The message that reached the Galactic Council was unlike any observation report in their history. It described a species that prepared for wars that might never come. A species that sought danger for entertainment. A species that constantly tried to improve themselves beyond their natural limits. Most disturbing of all, it described a species that might be advancing too quickly to control. When Counselor Vraktar received the report, he felt his worst fears confirmed. These humans were not just primitive creatures who would eventually join galactic civilization. They were something entirely different. Something potentially dangerous. The observation was supposed to answer questions about humanity. Instead, it raised new questions that no one in the galaxy had ever had to ask before. The distant observer continued its silent watch, sending more reports each day. But unknown to the crew, their stealth technology was not as perfect as they believed. Human sensors were more advanced than expected. Deep in a secret military facility on Earth, Dr. Elena Vasquez was studying unusual energy readings near Jupiter. The readings looked artificial, but they came from empty space. Something is out there, she told her team, and it is watching us. Counselor Vraktar stood in the shadows of his private chambers, speaking quietly into a secure communication device. The official council decision to simply observe the humans had left him deeply unsatisfied. His warrior instincts told him that waiting was dangerous. The council refuses to act, he whispered to his contact. But we cannot let these humans develop unchecked. They advance too quickly and think too dangerously. On the other end of the communication, Commander Thexvor of the Hegemony Extremist Cell nodded in agreement. Thexvor commanded a small group of warriors who believed that superior species had the right to control inferior ones. What do you propose? Thexvor asked. A test, Vraktar replied. Send one automated warship to attack their orbital installations. Make it look like an accident or natural phenomenon. When they panic and surrender, the Council will see that immediate intervention is necessary. Thexvor considered the plan. It violated every Council protocol, but it would provide proof that humans were too weak to be left alone. It will be done, he agreed. 3 days later, an unmarked Hegemony warship dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's moon. The ship was fully automated with no crew to be captured or questioned. Its mission was simple: destroy some human orbital infrastructure and wait for their surrender. The attack began at 14:30, Earth Standard Time. The warship's energy weapons struck 3 human space stations in quick succession. The stations exploded in bright flashes, killing 847 people instantly. Commander Thexvor expected immediate human surrender. Advanced species always surrendered when faced with superior technology. The humans would realize they were helpless and beg for mercy. Instead, something unprecedented happened. Within minutes of the attack, every human military force on Earth went to maximum alert. Instead of panicking, they began analyzing the wreckage of their destroyed stations. Instead of surrendering, they started preparing for war. Dr. Elena Vasquez was pulled from her laboratory and rushed to a military command center. Her previous work detecting unusual energy signatures near Jupiter suddenly became critical. Doctor, we need to know everything about these attackers, General Morrison told her. Ship design, weapons technology, propulsion systems, everything. Elena studied the debris patterns and energy readings from the attack. Her team worked around the clock analyzing every piece of data. The weapons use directed energy with power levels far beyond our current technology, she reported. The ship appears to use some form of gravity manipulation for propulsion, but there are patterns in the energy signatures that suggest artificial intelligence rather than living crew. General Morrison nodded grimly. So we're dealing with unmanned probes from a technologically superior enemy. What are our options? Conventionally, we have none, Elena admitted. But these energy patterns show their shields fluctuate when they fire. There might be a brief vulnerability window. Meanwhile, Colonel Marcus Chen was developing tactical responses in the Pentagon's deep command bunkers. Unlike Council species who relied on technological superiority, Chen was planning asymmetric warfare. We can't match their technology, he told his staff. But we can be unpredictable. They expect us to fight like civilized species. Instead, we'll fight like humans. Chen's plan was radical even by human standards. Instead of protecting their remaining space assets, he proposed using them as weapons. Convert cargo ships into kinetic missiles. Turn space stations into strategic sacrifices. Use the entire solar system as a battlefield. Aboard the distant Observer, the crew watched human responses with growing amazement. Captain Genkala had never seen anything like it. They are not surrendering, Kralok reported in disbelief. They are analyzing the attack and preparing counterstrikes. Against technology centuries more advanced than theirs? Dr. Elenara asked. Yes, and they are modifying their own equipment to fight back. The humans were, indeed, adapting faster than anyone thought possible. Dr. Elena Vasquez's team had not only analyzed the alien technology but begun incorporating it into human weapons. We've isolated the energy frequency of their shields, she reported to the Emergency Military Council. If we can generate a resonance pattern, we might be able to disrupt them. How long to build such a weapon? General Morrison asked. 72 hours if we cannibalize every satellite-based power system we have. Do it. The automated hegemony warship continued its patrol around Earth, waiting for surrender signals that never came. Instead, it detected increasing energy signatures from the planet's surface. The humans were building something. Commander Thexfor watched the situation from his hidden base with growing concern. This was not how primitive species were supposed to respond. Why are they not surrendering? He asked his tactical advisor. Unknown, Commander. Perhaps they do not understand the hopelessness of their situation. But the humans understood perfectly. They simply refused to accept hopelessness as an answer. 71 hours after the initial attack, Captain Sarah Chen launched from Earth aboard the converted cargo vessel Defiance. The ship had been hastily modified with Elena Vasquez's shield disruption technology and packed with nuclear warheads. The Defiance was not designed for combat. It was slow, poorly armored, and crewed by volunteers who knew they probably would not survive. But it carried something the alien ship did not expect: human determination. Target acquired, Sarah Chen reported as the alien warship came into range. Beginning attack run. The hegemony ship detected the approaching human vessel and powered its weapons. One shot should destroy such a primitive craft completely. But as the alien weapons charged, Sarah Chen activated Elena Vasquez's resonance generator. The alien ship's shields flickered and failed for exactly 2.3 seconds. It was enough. The Defiance rammed into the alien ship at full speed, detonating its nuclear payload on impact. Both vessels vanished in a brilliant explosion that could be seen from Earth's surface. Commander Thexfor stared at his displays in shock. His advanced warship had been destroyed by a primitive cargo vessel and crude nuclear weapons. How is this possible? He whispered. The answer came from the distant Observer's final report to the Council. The humans do not fight to win. They fight to learn. Every attack teaches them something new. Every sacrifice makes them stronger. Within hours of the battle, human salvage teams were recovering debris from both ships. Elena Vasquez's team began analyzing intact alien technology, while Colonel Chen started planning new tactics based on what they had learned. The test had backfired completely. Instead of proving human weakness, it had shown human adaptability. Instead of making them surrender, it had made them angry. And angry humans, the galaxy was about to learn, were very dangerous indeed. The Council would soon receive reports that would change everything they thought they knew about primitive species. The humans had done something no Council member believed possible. They had defeated superior technology through pure determination and adaptive intelligence. War was coming to the galaxy, whether the Council wanted it or not. Commander Thexivore paced around his command center like a caged predator. The destruction of his automated warship by primitive humans had enraged him beyond reason. His pride and his reputation were at stake. "Prepare the full strike force," he ordered his crew. 12 ships with full weapons and shield capabilities. We will show these humans what real power looks like. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Kextal, hesitated before responding. "Commander, the Council has not authorized military action. If we attack with multiple ships, they will discover our involvement." Thexivore slammed his fist on the command console. "The Council is weak. These humans destroyed our ship with primitive technology. If we do not act now, they will become too dangerous to control." The extremist cell had been planning this moment for months. 12 state-of-the-art hegemony warships launched from their hidden base in the Outer Rim. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy entire cities and shields that could deflect any known primitive weapon. But as the strike force approached Earth's solar system, they were not approaching the same humans who had been attacked weeks earlier. They were approaching humans who had learned. Dr. Elena Vasquez had not wasted a single day since the first battle, working with salvaged alien technology. Her team had made breakthrough discoveries about energy manipulation, shield generation, and propulsion systems. "We've reverse-engineered their basic shield technology," she reported to the Emergency Defense Council. "But more importantly, we've improved it." General Morrison studied the technical readouts with amazement. "How is that possible?" "This technology is centuries ahead of ours. Because we approach problems differently," Elena explained. "They built these systems to be stable and predictable. We've modified them to be adaptable and efficient. Our version uses 30% less power and responds faster to changing conditions." Meanwhile, Colonel Marcus Chen had been busy converting humanity's space infrastructure into a guerrilla warfare network. Traditional space stations became mobile weapons platforms. Cargo ships were converted into stealth attack vessels. Even asteroids were equipped with engines and guidance systems. "We can't fight them ship to ship," Chen explained to his tactical team. "So we'll make the entire solar system our weapon. Every piece of space debris, every satellite, every orbital platform becomes part of our defense network." Captain Sarah Chen, sister of Colonel Marcus Chen, commanded the new flagship Defiance II. Built from salvaged alien technology and human innovation, it looked like no ship ever seen before. Where alien ships were smooth and elegant, the Defiance II was angular and aggressive. Where alien technology sought perfection, human technology sought effectiveness. "All defensive positions report ready," she announced to the Solar Defense Network. "Enemy vessels detected at the edge of sensor range." The 12 hegemony ships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Their shields gleamed with energy, and their weapons charged with deadly power. Commander Thexivore expected to see human ships fleeing in terror. Instead, he saw nothing but empty space. "Where are they?" he demanded. "Sensors show no human vessels in this system." "Unknown, Commander," his tactical officer replied. "All human space installations appear to have been abandoned." Thexivore smiled with satisfaction. "They have fled in fear. Begin systematic destruction of their orbital infrastructure. When they see their cities burning, they will surrender." But as the hegemony ships moved deeper into the solar system, the trap closed around them. The first attack came from what appeared to be a small asteroid. The rock suddenly sprouted engines and weapons, ramming into the lead hegemony ship. The alien shields held, but the impact disrupted their formation. Then the second asteroid attacked. And the third, and the fourth. "We are under attack by their asteroids," the tactical officer shouted. "How is this possible?" Before Thexivore could answer, a converted human cargo ship decloaked directly behind his flagship. The ship looked primitive and battered, but its weapons fired with devastating effect. The human weapons should not have penetrated hegemony shields. But Elena Vasquez's resonance technology turned advanced alien shields into weaknesses. "Every shot found its target, shields failing," the engineering officer reported. "Their weapons are calibrated to our exact shield frequencies." Captain Sarah Chen's voice crackled over the communication system. "Attention, alien vessels. You attacked our people. You killed our civilians. Now you face the consequences. The battle that followed broke every rule of civilized space combat. The humans did not fight in organized formations. They did not follow predictable tactics. They used their own ships as weapons, ramming alien vessels when their guns ran out of ammunition. Most shocking of all, they coordinated their attacks with suicidal precision. Human pilots would sacrifice their ships to learn about alien weaknesses. Each sacrifice provided data that made the next attack more effective. Lieutenant Commander Liu Ming piloted his interceptor directly into the shields of a hegemony cruiser. The impact should have killed him instantly. Instead, he used Elena Vasquez's new personal shield technology to survive the crash and board the alien ship. Boarding. Party successful, he reported to Sarah. Chen. Beginning capture of enemy vessel. Boarding action? Thexvor screamed. No one has attempted boarding actions in 800 years. It is too dangerous. But Liu Ming and his team were not concerned with safety. They fought through the alien ship with weapons designed specifically for close combat against technologically superior enemies. Within 2 hours, they had captured the entire vessel. The tide of battle turned completely when human engineers began operating captured alien ships. The vessels performed better under human control than they had under their original crews. How are they doing this? Thexvor demanded as he watched his fleet being systematically destroyed or captured. The answer came from an unexpected source. The distant observer had been monitoring the battle and transmitting continuous reports to the Council. The humans do not just learn from their enemies, Captain Genkala reported. They improve upon everything they capture. Their tactical systems process information faster than ours. Their modified ships outperform our original designs. By the end of the battle, only 3 hegemony ships remained functional. Thexvor's flagship was heavily damaged and his crew was demoralized beyond recovery. Retreat, he ordered. All ships withdraw immediately. But as the surviving alien ships tried to escape, they discovered that the humans had anticipated this too. Captain Sarah Chen's task force had positioned themselves at the hyperspace exit points. You came here to destroy us, she broadcast to the fleeing aliens. But you're not leaving until we understand your technology completely. The final hegemony ship was captured after a fierce chase through the outer planets. Thexvor himself was taken prisoner when his command ship was boarded by human marines using captured alien equipment. In the aftermath of the battle, humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had not only defeated a technologically superior force but captured most of it intact. Human engineers were already reverse engineering 12 alien warships and adapting their technology. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the captured alien command center, studying their computer systems. Everything she learned made human technology stronger. We're not just copying their designs, she explained to General Morrison. We're understanding the principles behind them. Within months, we'll be building ships that are better than anything in their fleet. The news of the battle reached the Galactic Council within days. Emergency sessions were called as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. A primitive species had not only survived an advanced military assault, but had captured the attacking force. Councillor Vraktar found himself under investigation for his role in the unauthorized attacks. But more importantly, the entire council faced a new reality. Humanity was no longer a primitive species to be managed. They were becoming a power that could challenge anyone in the galaxy, and they were angry. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 12 species argued loudly while emergency reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The news from Earth had shattered thousands of years of established order. Elder Morvek called for silence with his 4 ancient arms raised high. His voice cut through the noise like a blade. We are here to address the human situation, he announced. In the past month, a primitive species has captured an entire hegemony strike force and begun reverse engineering our most advanced technology. Ambassador Zixthala activated the main display screen. The images showed human ships that looked nothing like any previous design. They were built from captured alien technology but modified in ways that made Council engineers nervous. Intelligence reports indicate that human vessels now outperform original hegemony designs by significant margins, she reported. Their ships are faster, more efficient, and more heavily armed than our own. Councillor Vraktar sat in restraints, facing charges for his unauthorized attacks on Earth. But even under arrest, His warnings about human danger seemed prophetic. "I told you they were different," he said bitterly. "Now they have our technology and they are making it better. What will you do when they surpass us completely?" The question hung in the air like poison. For the first time in galactic history, a council species faced the possibility of being outmatched by a newcomer. Dr. Ellen Ara from the observation team presented her final psychological analysis of humanity. Her findings were the most disturbing yet. "They do not think like us," she explained. "When we acquire new technology, we integrate it carefully into existing systems. Humans completely redesign everything to work better. They are not content with copying our achievements. They want to surpass them." Engineer Maldek confirmed the technical aspects. Their captured ships have been modified extensively. Power systems are 30% more efficient. Weapon systems fire 20% faster. Shield generators respond to threats in half the time of our original designs. But the most shocking discovery came from Communications Officer Thirun. He had been monitoring human transmissions since the battle ended. "They are not preparing for defense," he reported. "They are preparing for expansion." Long-range sensors detect human ships already moving beyond their solar system. The council chamber erupted in new arguments. Some species demanded immediate military action before humans became too powerful. Others called for diplomatic contact and technology sharing. A few suggested complete withdrawal from human space. Captain Genkala from the Distant Observer delivered the most important intelligence. "Counselors, there is something else you must know. The humans have been aware of our observation ship for weeks. They choose to let us watch them." The implications were staggering. Human technology had advanced enough to detect council stealth systems. They were confident enough to allow spying because they no longer feared council capabilities. Elder Morvek processed all the information with the wisdom of his ancient species. How long before human technology surpasses all council species? Maldek consulted his analysis computers. At their current rate of advancement, 6 months to achieve technological parity, 18 months to achieve clear superiority. And how long before they can threaten council territory? They are already moving ships beyond their system. Conservative estimates suggest they could reach council space within 2 years. The debate that followed would reshape galactic politics forever. The old protocols for dealing with primitive species were useless. Humanity had jumped from pre-space civilization to galactic power in less than 1 year. Counselor Yexara of the Trader Guild proposed immediate economic alliance. If we cannot control them, we should profit from them. Human innovation could benefit all council species. Military Commander Brixton disagreed. "They are too dangerous to trust. We should form a coalition to contain them before they spread." But Elder Morvek had reached a different conclusion. "We are debating the wrong question," he said slowly. "We are not deciding what to do about humanity. We are deciding how to respond to the new dominant species in this galaxy." His words silenced the chamber. The ancient curator species had survived for millions of years by recognizing when power shifted in the galaxy. "Motion to vote," Morvek continued. "All in favor of offering immediate alliance and full membership to humanity." The vote was closer than anyone expected. 7 species voted for alliance, 4 voted against, 1 abstained. Within hours, the fastest council ship was racing toward Earth carrying the most important diplomatic message in galactic history. The council was inviting humanity to join as equals, not because they wanted to, but because they had no choice. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community. She stood in the rebuilt orbital station where the first alien attack had occurred, waiting for the council delegation to arrive. When the council ship approached Earth, it did so under heavy escort of human vessels. The aliens no longer had the option of arriving unannounced. The meeting took place aboard the human flagship Defiance II. Captain Sarah Chen welcomed the council delegation with polite but firm ceremony. "Welcome to human space," she said. "We have been expecting you." Ambassador Zixathala presented the council's offer with as much dignity as she could manage. The Galactic Council offers humanity full membership with all associated technology sharing and territorial rights. Elena Vasquez accepted the documents with a slight smile. "We appreciate the invitation. However, we need to clarify something important." She activated a holographic display showing human ships throughout the solar system and beyond. "We accept your alliance because cooperation benefits everyone. But understand that humanity will continue expanding whether you approve or not." The council delegation studied the display with growing unease. Human ships were already establishing bases in 3 different star systems. Their expansion had begun before the council had even made their offer. We explore the galaxy because it is there, Elena continued. We grow stronger because challenges make us stronger. We innovate because staying the same is not acceptable to us. Zixthala realized she was not negotiating with supplicants begging for acceptance. She was negotiating with a power that could afford to be generous. What are humanity's terms for alliance? She asked carefully. Simple, Elena replied. We share technology freely with those who share with us. We defend allies who defend us. We respect council territory in exchange for recognition of human territory. And if conflicts arise, Elena's smile became sharper. Then we resolve them like humans. We adapt, we overcome, and we win. The treaty signed that day established humanity as the 13th member of the Galactic Council, but everyone involved knew the real truth. The Council was not gaining a new member. They were acknowledging a new power. As the Council delegation prepared to return home, Elder Morvek offered one final observation to Elena Vasquez. Your species will reshape this galaxy, he said. I hope you remember that with great power comes great responsibility. We remember everything, Elena replied. And we learn from everything. That's what makes us human. 6 months later, human colonies were established in 12 star systems. Human technology had indeed surpassed council standards in most areas. Human ships explored regions of space that had been considered too dangerous for millennia. The galaxy had new rules now. They were human rules based on adaptation, innovation, and the belief that any problem could be solved if you were willing to try hard enough. The age of careful galactic stability was over. The age of human expansion had begun. And across the galaxy, other species watched the humans with a mixture of admiration and terror, wondering what these remarkable creatures would do next.